Welcome to the first ever 10-minute shoot from Chi-Town Shoot. I wanted to dedicate this first episode to WWE's first episode of Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Give you my quick thoughts about what happened this past week. We were introduced to this new era with Triple H with a great video package on the screen. It basically covered the entire ring with a giant curtain going from the beginning of their history all the way to the end. That cold open video curtain dropped, revealed Triple H, who was standing right in the middle of the ring. He got a huge pop, and the crowd was very, very wild during this. And then on top of that, he asked, "Are you ready?" and kicked us off with a bunch of cool fireworks. Very great opening to Monday Night Raw. I think that he was the right person to introduce us to this new era. I was also kind of personally hoping we would see Stephanie McMahon as well. We did get a cameo appearance from her later on during the show, so I'll take what I can get, but it's good to see Stephanie. Great introduction by Triple H himself. Following Triple H, we had the segment from The Rock, who came out to announce the largest live gate for WWE Raw. He made a Squid Games reference, why not? He basically cut a babyface promo in this segment, and for those of you who have been watching in the past year, The Rock and his final boss persona was a heel. He turned heel during the WrestleMania 40 season. He had a bloody feud with Cody Rhodes before they shook hands around August, then he went off into the sunset to do his other movies. So this was an interesting direction for him and for the story, because it was a babyface promo and it was almost unrelated to the story. It just felt like Dwayne Johnson cutting a promo. He thanked Cody Rhodes, who was also in the crowd, for carrying the company on his back for a year. Cody Rhodes received a great reaction when he was shown on the big screen. Rock then jokingly said, it sounded jokingly, to tell Mama Rhodes, The Rock says hello. So, interesting direction. A lot of folks, including myself, felt like this may have been the wrong course of action for The Rock and his character, especially because they went through all that stuff in the previous year. And again, maybe I'm just jumping the gun, but we'll see where this goes going forward. Hopefully The Rock returns back to his heel persona, because I think that's his best work that he's done in years. He also acknowledged Roman Reigns as the tribal chief, and he doubled down and said that Roman Reigns was the original tribal chief, which was followed by the match that kicked off WWE Monday Night Raw, Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa. Great solid match. Lots of tables, lots of steps, lots of interferences. We got an interference from Kevin Owens, from the rest of the bloodline, from Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns ends up winning this match, becoming the original tribal chief. The Rock comes out, walks down to the ring. They have a stare down, gives him the Ulafala. Somewhere between that stare down and the Ulafala, he takes off his glasses. This entire segment felt like we were expecting a rock bottom. It never came. Instead, they had an embrace. But the interaction between the two made me feel like they might end up having some kind of match or feud, maybe at this year's WrestleMania, maybe at SummerSlam. The vibe felt a little off, so I feel like maybe they were teasing something there, but perhaps I'm reading too much into it. We got the match between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. I think Rhea Ripley was the right person to win this match. Liv Morgan had a great run with her Women's World Championship, and it was time to move on from this feud, give the belt to Rhea, have her feud with somebody else. Liv Morgan, I don't know what she's going to do after this. Perhaps she's going to get one more rematch between herself and Rhea. I feel like it's well deserved. Liv Morgan carried the title for most of the previous year, so it would make sense. Perhaps we'll see it at the Royal Rumble. And after Rhea Ripley won the belt, we got a great appearance by The Undertaker, who started with the gong, ended up being the American Badass Undertaker. He came out, and then Rhea Ripley, this was while Rhea Ripley was still on stage. She walked over, he acknowledged her, and they both did the fist up in the air, harkening back to The Undertaker's pose. I thought it was a great way for The Undertaker to acknowledge Rhea Ripley, and it was a great way for Rhea Ripley to be elevated in even more, even though she's already a giant star. It was great to get that seal of approval from The Undertaker. Moving on, we also had an appearance from John Cena. This year is the start of John Cena's final year as a full-time wrestler. He was showered with thank you Cena chants from the LA crowd. He talked about his time in LA as the Prototype, where he wrestled in UPW in Orange County. And then he started teasing potential people who he can wrestle with this year, including Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes, who got a big pop, and CM Punk, who I think got the biggest pop out of all the folks that he listed out during this promo. And that's something I definitely would want to see. If not at this WrestleMania, then somewhere between now and December. He talked about wanting to be a 17-time world champion, and the fans started chanting, "You deserve it." He talked about his own streak, and his streak is a losing streak, where he mentioned that he basically didn't win a match in 2,446 days, and it would take a miracle for him to win the championship. And he talked about winning the Royal Rumble, which got a huge pop. I think that'd be for me, and this is for me speaking as a fan, if I had to pick somebody to win the Royal Rumble, it's either John Cena or CM Punk. John Cena, because I do think the man deserves his flowers. He's obviously a decorated veteran, but I would like to see John Cena get the retirement that he deserves. And for CM Punk, I mean, CM Punk never won a Royal Rumble, so I think to add a notch on his belt, someone who I have appreciated for most of my wrestling fandom, I think it'd be great to see CM Punk win that match. Perhaps he'll wrestle Gunther unless Gunther loses the belt. Maybe they'll switch Gunther from Raw to SmackDown and then put Cody Rhodes on Monday Night Raw. I feel like that's a real possibility. I don't think you need to do a draft. They could do some shenanigans. So Cena versus Punk, that'd be fantastic. Cena versus Cody Rhodes, that'd be great. He ended the promo by vowing to win the Rumble, and you know what? Let's give it to him. One of the most talked about segments during this Monday Night Raw was Hulk Hogan essentially getting booed out of the building during his segment, talking about Monday Night Raw on Netflix and then promoting his Real American Beer. If you could see on his the wrestling mat during the show, you saw his logo on there. He was getting some NWO Bash at the Beach heel heat during this segment, let me tell you. I don't know if the brass backstage thought that he wouldn't get booed. I feel like at this point, knowing his background and his history, you would expect something like this, especially if you're going to Los Angeles. I mean, maybe they expected it, but they weren't thinking it was going to be such a giant shift towards booing. Maybe they thought it was 50-50. I don't know. We ended the night with CM Punk defeating Seth Rollins. Again, I don't think this feud is over. It doesn't necessarily have to end or continue immediately. You could push it to later in the year. I feel like this is going to be a best of 3. Some people complain that CM Punk shouldn't have won. I think it's well deserved, especially if you're going to build him up as a potential champion. You want him to rack up those wins. We also had a bunch of teases for next week, including Chad Gable versus a mystery luchador, and they specified mystery luchador. Everybody knows, and they made these comments and references during the actual show, from commentary, as well as during the press conference, with a wink and a nod that it's Penta who left AEW this past year. Really looking forward to that. I'm curious what they do with Penta beyond this initial match with Chad Gable. Some folks are talking about Rey Mysterio wrestling with Penta. Other than that, I mean, it's great. Penta being in WWE based on all his previous works. I mean, it's a new environment. It's going to be very fascinating to see what WWE does with someone like him. And we also get the Women's Intercontinental Championship Tournament Finals, Dakota Kai versus Lyra Valkyria. I hope that Lyra Valkyria wins the thing, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. That's it for this week's review of the Monday Night Raw debut episode. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.